What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade, Quinny W20 here, coming to you with a quick NBA talk up on the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is really a hot topic, but the Cleveland Cavaliers won 12 in a row. They lost to the Indiana Pacers, and I just want to come up with a quick discussion about who the team that you pick to come out the East. This is a discussion for everybody. Let me know who you think gonna come out the East. We have the Atlanta Hawks, who the number one team in the NBA right now, I believe. They just beat Golden State by enough points. They destroyed them in the second half. Then you got the Washington Wizards, you got the Toronto Raptors, and you got the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls been a little inconsistent. Their defense has slipped. They went from being a top 10 defensive team to the middle of the pack, which is horrible. But their offense has got a whole lot better. Their defense just has to get better. Then you got the Toronto Raptors. They rely too much on ISO ball. They rely too much on isolation. They take a lot of bad shots. But their defense is good, but their offense is inconsistent. Like sometimes they can get 100 points, sometimes they struggle. But it's all because the way their offense is ran, they run a lot of isolation. And if they do that, they're going to get blew out a lot of games. And it's going to be hard for them to get out of the first round, depending on what their record is and depending on who they play. Because Chicago could move up. Cleveland could move up because they've been hot. So Toronto could move down. And if they do, they're going to have to play the Bucks, who just beat them without Brandon Knight, without Jabari Parker. They just beat them. Or they're going to have to play the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Lou Aldain, and Hassan Whiteside. It's going to be hard for the Toronto Raptors to come out the East, even in the first round. They was hot in the beginning of the season because their schedule was weak. But as their schedule got more balanced, they've been losing a lot of games. And they're going to have to play the Spurs next. But I'm not a fan of the Toronto Raptors. I don't think they're going to be a championship contender team. And I think they like a first round, second round, definitely a second round exit. I don't see this team getting out of the second round. But the Atlanta Hawks is a team that I can't wait to see what they do in the playoffs. They took Indiana to 7 games last year, which is very impressive without Al Horford. Now they got their whole team back all the way healthy, but their bench is still weak. They don't have no depth. So if one player like Paul Millsap get injured, it's going to really devastate this team because they don't have nobody really to pick up his slack. So the injuries is a real big key for Atlanta's success because they cannot take no injuries because they'll have no depth in the bench. Nobody can replace Paul Millsap. Nobody can replace Al Horford. Nobody can replace Kyle Korver on that bench. So with that being said, they cannot have no injuries and they have to be consistent because they don't have like Paul Millsap is a go-to guy. He can get you clutch buckets. He can knock down shots. He can get to the free throw line. So don't say Paul Millsap. They don't have no go-to guy. Al Horford is an all-star. Paul Millsap is a person that he can shoot, he can make plays, and he can play defense, and he can score inside and out. He is a go-to guy. So Atlanta Hawks do got a go-to guy in Paul Millsap and in Al Horford. But I like Paul Millsap better because he can shoot from the three-point line, and he can put the ball on the floor and create offense, and he can get fouls. So Paul Millsap is a go-to guy. So don't say they don't have a go-to guy. I just believe that Chicago Bulls could, if they can get Derrick Rose playing smarter, wiser, and get the ball and play better, like come into a playmaker instead of a score for his point guard. If he can turn into a playmaker like he did in 2010, where he can average 7 assists, if he can stop shooting so much and stop trying to force it so much, and just let the game come to him naturally like he did before, and just take shots he know he can make, take shots he should take, instead of just forcing up shots and forcing passes. If he just be patient, be smart, be smooth, I would love to see the Chicago Bulls come out the East. But Derrick Rose needs to let the game come to him and slow down and become a smarter player. He's rushing, he's forcing things right now, and he's hurting the Bulls. And he's shooting way too many shots, which is horrible. He ain't the best player on the team. It's Jimmy Butler and Paul Gasol. So Derrick Rose needs to calm down a little bit and get it together. I picked the Cleveland Cavaliers to come out the East. Now, I picked Chicago, and I still will pick Chicago. I'm going to have to see how they play. But I just think it's going to be hard as hell to beat Cleveland with J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert. But I picked Chicago before these trades happened with Cleveland. Before they got J.R. Smith, before they got Iman Shumpert, before they got Mozgov, I had picked Chicago. But with LeBron James got that much talent, he got knockdown shooters, he got all-star power, Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, and they got their defense went up from 18th to 13, and they've been going up ever since they got Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, and Mozgov. Their defensive rating been going up. They went from 20 to 13. They could be a top 10 defensive team. They already a top 10 offensive team. You can't really stop this team from scoring. They got too many weapons, too many shooting, too much floor spacing, and Timothy Mozgov can shoot too, and he can score in the post, and he can shoot free throws. And they're a good rebounding team too. They're 18th in rebounding, but you know Kevin Love is averaging 10 rebounds. LeBron can go for a lot of rebounds, and Mozgov can go for a lot of rebounds too. They 15th in assists. That's because they take a lot of isolation and they play a lot of pick and roll basketball. So don't let that number mislead you. They 15 assists because they like to use a lot of pick and roll, and that allows them to go in isolation a lot, and that creates a lot of mismatches. They do pass the ball a lot, but the pick and roll creates so many mismatches that they go in isolation a lot. And then they 10th in points per game, what you suspect with a team with 3 All-Stars and J.R. Smith and Shumpert and Mike Miller and Marion and Tristan Thompson. This team is stacked. All they needed to do was play defense, and now since they're playing defense, I think it's going to be hard to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 7-game series if you in the East. They got LeBron James. He's clutch. He can take over games. Kyrie Irving, he can take over games, get 20 to 30. Kevin Love, he's struggling from the 3-point line and from the post. But we know if they need him to get a basket, he's still averaging 17 and 10. So he can get you a basket. Cleveland going to be the hardest team to beat in a 7-game series. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who you think coming out the East? Who you think is the favorite? Do you think Chicago can get together? Do you think Atlanta underrated in the playoffs? Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Quinn Wade signing out. And if you're new to the channel, check out my older video. Like this video, like my older video, subscribe.